Well, here we are live for race number 7 of the season. The Saturday Night Racing League has put on a great season thus far, but live from the virtual Michigan International Raceway, it's the Saturday Night Challenger Series. Welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Bradley Cooper. Of course, alongside me here in the booth, Jeff Wright with the co-commentary. Jeff, we've got some hometown heroes in the grid here tonight worth mentioning with the Shoemakers, but ultimately it's going to come down not just about who's from this place, but who understands it, because this track, as easy as it may seem, can chew up tires and spit you out.
Yeah, it's a really fast racetrack, a really exciting racetrack. And so far, this season, we haven't seen anything like this. So this is an entirely different thing than what we've had, prior this season. Last week, we saw Morgan Cook come out and win at Nashville Super Speedway, another unique racetrack, 1.3 mile concrete oval. Been to a mile and a half, like Charlotte, and saw Brian Chambliss have a really good run, who I'll mention is the V-Speed odds favorite tonight. But this track isn't like any of those. This is a very unique track. It's fast, high speeds, and like you mentioned, this place does eat up tires. And dirty air is going to be a big factor tonight as well. So you're going to have to navigate that in order to be competitive tonight.
Taking a look at the points, Dakota Floyd with a 17-point lead. He's maintained that now for about 3 weeks. Matthew Rafford fell back to second. He's about 17 points out. And then you have all of these one-time winners scattered throughout. We have not had a repeat winner in the Challenger Series. Of course, it goes all the way back to Bryce Shoemaker there in 15th position. But overall, it's been pretty fun to watch. We don't know who's going to win. There hasn't been a standout driver. It's been a different name up towards the front at the end of these things. So, hold on to your hats. We could see another first time here.
Yeah, certainly could see a first-time winner here tonight in the Challenger Series. And same thing in the Cup Series. I mean, we haven't seen a repeat winner at all this season. So that's made for some really entertaining racing, entertaining to watch out there. And I would not be shocked at all, Bradley, if we see another first-time winner. I'm looking at guys like Noah Mahalski. I know he's been plagued with the bad luck, but he qualified on pole. So look out for him. Jordan Trass is another guy that, this type of racetrack really suits his driving style. And, it's a birthday weekend for the guy, too. So it'd be awesome to win on your birthday.
Race analysis up on your screen. 70 laps here tonight. 2 green-white checkered attempts with 80% fuel. That iRacing fix setup. Tire's going to be at a premium with only 3 sets available. So you have to choose wisely for these 70 laps on when you're going to take those sets. And we saw some gambling there last week with the tires at different times. But with that, let's get you down trackside, get that grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole here tonight is Noah Mahalski with a 39.469 to start on that first position. Jordan Trass will start on his outside, about a half a tenth off of the pole. Row number 2 goes to Chuck Sweeting with Brian Chambliss in the 4th spot, and then it goes Nathan Ferrata and Caleb Weekly for row number 3. Bryce Shoemaker and Philip Brewer will start 7th and 8th, and then it goes back to Chris Rude, Matthew Rafford for row number 5.
And starting in the 11th position, it's going to be Matt Dominic, followed by Bobby Patrica. A first-time starter this season will be starting in 13th. That's going to be Jace Coley. Max Koss will start 14th. Teresa Spiker in 15th. Logan Threlkel, V-Speed Zone, will start in the 16th position. Rob Denton will start 17th. Ben Laughter, 18th. Jeremy Reed in 19th. And Michael Jones rounding out the top 20.
Got a little bit behind there. ATVO taking its time on the clicks, but there's your names that were mentioned there through the top 20. And then we go back to 21st position, Dakota Floyd, for your points leader all the way back in 21st to start. Keith Shoemaker, one of the hometown favorites, in 22nd. 23rd, Joe Spinelli with Mark McFadden in 24th. 25th, Matt Shanoski, Austin Belkey in 26th. And rounding out your field here tonight, it's the 56 of Benjamin Richards in 27th. So Noah Mahalski, will the luck turn around? He's had probably the worst luck of any driver we've seen this season, and he was actually one of the favorites to win the whole series. He's yet to have a win. He's yet to really have a top 10 string. The driver that did so well in the Cup Series, especially last season, he's had a rough start.
He definitely has had a rough start, and that's not a lack of speed. He's had speed pretty much everywhere we've gone. We saw him have a great run in Iowa. He was running well in Charlotte, Nashville. He was going to be competitive, but it's just the bad luck's been getting in his way. So it'll be, interesting to see, does the bad luck finally get out of his way? I know Noah's really good at this racetrack, and I know he's looking forward to tonight. But if I'm going to make my pick, I got to stick to my bet slip tonight, Bradley. I'm taking Jordan Tross. I think he's going to be the race winner tonight here in Michigan.
Well, I'm looking at the number 9. He's known for upsets, so I'm going to go with Brian Chambliss. But let's find out for 70 laps here tonight. We're live and racing in Michigan. Leading lap number 1, it's going to be Noah Mahalski in the 03. The 75 of Chuck Sweeting has moved up a spot already. And there's a Nathan Ferrata trying to take away a 3rd position to work his way to 2nd.
Yeah, it's good to see Ferrata back here in the series. Missed a few races this year, but anytime he shows up, he's always very competitive. I look back to just a couple of weeks ago when we were racing in the Cup Series at Dover. He led a lot of the, the beginning portions of that race. He's always quick wherever we go. And Bradley, man, I've just been looking so forward to getting to this racetrack this season. I've had this circle for quite a while, ever since the schedule came out, because I feel like this is going to be probably the best racing product we're going to be seeing really all season long. The speeds are so high. You saw 3 wide already on the first lap. These guys are getting after it.
Yeah, my pick was already coming with some gumption there. Brian Chambliss. It actually backfired on him, though. He got up there on the outside. That'll work later in the run. You'll see this track migrate to the higher lines. But right now, early on, you see our 2 picks running nose to tail, 4th and 5th position. Lots of passing going on back here. Deeper in the field, a lot of side-by-side from 10th on back. Looking at Teresa Spiker on the outside. There's Max Cost as well. And peeking 3 wide down the front stretch, there's Logan Threlkeld in the front.
It looks like Chuck Sweeting actually got around Noah Mahalski to take the lead there through 3 and 4. So Chuck Sweeting to the point here at Michigan. Another driver that's kind of been in the same boat as Noah a lot this season. Just a lot of bad luck. He was having a great run at Nashville, and then just got caught up by a little bit of miscommunication on the green flag pit sequence there. Had a truck in front of him not call out his pit, and Chuck just had nowhere to go. He got another poor finish because of it. So now that Chuck is out front here, I think the 75 here can be really dangerous. We haven't really been able to see Chuck get to the lead. It's just a lot of bad luck's been in his way. But now with a clean racetrack in front of him, I feel like this 75 is going to be dangerous tonight.
Well, I can tell you this. He has probably the most consistent bad luck. He is on probably 6 or 7 different leagues that we have broadcasted throughout the year. And it seems like that luck carries over. I don't know if it's the curse of the VSP commentary or what, but I know being on the racetrack with Chuck personally, he's one of the most formidable drivers. Always somebody you're chasing or trying to hold off. And so you give him the lead here, and you'll see Noah Mahalski probably follow the leader for quite some time.
Yeah, and this gives Noah Mahalski also an opportunity to kind of settle in, save your tires, maybe even save a little bit of fuel. So the fuel situation is interesting tonight. It's one of the first races, I think, where it's a no-doubt 2-stop race. So you can definitely save some fuel here and maybe try to stretch your runs a little bit, which could be beneficial on the back half of these runs. The tires do wear a lot here. I mean, with the speeds that we're carrying, you're definitely going to chew the tires up. So if you can maybe save a lap or 2 of fuel and go an extra lap on these green flag pit stops, that might be the difference maker if you win in this race. So I feel like Noah's in a pretty good spot here right now, as well as Anathian and a couple of these other guys. It looks like they're just riding right now.
I still butcher that name, Anathian. I always call him Anathan for some reason, but Yeah, he's sitting back there in the '07, about 2/10 off of this, but probably a little bit in clean air, keeping that cushion in front of him with Noah up there drafting the 75, probably using his tires up a little bit more. But it's pretty single file all the way back to the 97 of Matthew Radford, second in points. Radford is coming to this race starting in 10th. And I know that with Matthew, it's kind of the case of very new to the service. He hasn't been on iRacing for very long. And he shows a lot of raw talent. And so once he's able to harness that, you've seen a lot of developmental drivers throughout the course of your career here on iRacing, Jeff. It takes a long time for some guys, but this guy comes out swinging right out the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been competitive each and every single week. Ever since he won that season opener at Daytona, he hasn't fallen off or anything. He's always been there. We see him in the top 10 consistently. And you also mentioned the points situation here as he making a move here on Philip Brewer, trying to grab a spot here inside the top 10. That's going to move him up to the 7th position here. So as he completes the pass, but for starting out and being relatively new to iRacing, it's really impressive with what he's been able to accomplish. I can go back to my first few years on iRacing, Bradley, and I couldn't save tires to save my life. I could maybe run a hot lap here and there, but never had anything for anybody on the long run. So to see him be as competitive as he is, as early in his iRacing career, showing a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Matthew Radford here in seasons to come here in Saturday Night Racing League.
Well, this is what proves my point. He's up here competing with guys like Philip Brewer, who've been on the service for a few years. Caleb Weekly, who we know from the Cup Series, definitely a top 10 talent there in the Cup. And he's racing consistent laps with all these guys, holding strong, as you saw Noah Mahalski got back around Chuck Sweeting. So that will be our second lead change of the day. And laps in here at Michigan. The sun is shining. It is a very warm 76 degrees with the track temp just under 100, 95 Fahrenheit. And apparently in the chat, it is the Canadian Thanksgiving today. So happy Thanksgiving to our friends up north and anybody watching. It's from that area. Welcome into V-Speed. I know we have progressively worked our way. We're going international more and more here on V-Speed. Actually, I have a pretty big trip here coming up in November. I won't release all the details until, probably the week of. But just know that we're not stopping at just the North American territory. V-Speed's going to probably branch out a little more than that.
Yeah, we have some Canadian drivers in the league as well. You mentioned, Jordan Trask, he's obviously one from Canada, Mark McFadden, probably a couple others too that I'm forgetting here. But yeah, it's nice to, that's the nice thing about sim racing, Bradley, is you can be, on different countries and everything, and everybody can race together. We have an Australian and Rob Denton. So, it's just incredible that you can be sim racing with people, more than halfway across the world. So it's a lot of fun that we can do this in iRacing.
Look back here at Rob Denton in the number 93. He's running right behind our points leader. The 57 of Dakota Floyd has barely cracked the top 20. He's working on 19th position Michael Jones right now. They're about 5 seconds back from the lead, so kind of spells trouble for the 57 team. This gives a chance for Matthew Radford to make up that 13-point deficit. We've got some smoke through 3 and 4 here. There's sideways with the 65 into the pit road. Into the pit wall hard for the 76 of Spinelli.
Oh, man, what an impact. Yeah, that's going to be terminal damage there for Joe Spinelli, hitting the barrels there. I've done that a time at Dover before, Bradley, and once you catch those barrels on the pit entry, it's definitely going to do significant damage, and he's not going to be able to continue. So that is really unfortunate here for him in the early goings.
Spinelli lost control, but there was a chain reaction there in front of that truck. We'll have to go back on the instant replay to figure out exactly how this all unfolds. This was going, I saw some tire smoke through 3 and 4. Actually about a lap ahead of this, but it's right on board with Spinelli. This starts with the 65 possibly, from Jace Coley. There's some sideways with the 32.
I saw Chris get a little loose, but he was able to gather it up.
But yeah, 3 wide straight ahead. That's not always what you're wanting to see. It looks like maybe a little contact up there.
Yeah, maybe a little more help. I don't know if the 65 got loose on his own, but Teresa Spiker, who just sneaks through Max Cost, and here's the impact of the inside wall for the 86/76. Let's get an aerial view of this.
Yeah, I think Teresa and I think Max, they're going to be able to continue on, but obviously the hit that Joe Spinelli suffered there, that's, you know, race ending for him. But it looks like, yeah, Jace Coley got a little bit loose and looked like he had gathered it up, but then it just kind of snaps on him again and chases it up the track and makes some contact.
Wow. Teresa barely made it through that.
Yeah, that's just good work of the spotter up on the spotter stand. Christopher Hodges has been spotting for Teresa in this series all season long, so she's in good hands, having a knowledgeable spotter like Christopher Hodges up on top of that spotter stand. And you know, Christopher, he's a Cup Series regular with us here in Saturday Night Racing League. So yeah, definitely a little contact. It looked like he had it saved, but then just there was like it broke loose a second time and just wasn't able to gather it up. But didn't get a ton of damage of it. The big loser was Joe Spinelli, like we mentioned. We saw his trucks just completely destroyed. These other trucks that were involved, I feel like, are in an okay spot. I don't know how hard they, hit each other, but probably going to spend some time here on pit lane trying to fix everything they can. So we had pit stops, I believe, here, and we have a couple guys staying out. Guys like Matt Dominic, Logan Threlkeld. They're going to try the alternate strategy here, save a set of tires. We only get 3 sets of tires tonight, so this is a little bit early, probably earlier than what some guys want to take that first set. But these guys, at least the top 2 are going to stay out here and try to see if this strategy goes their way.
Good doubling back up on lap 15. First caution of the day here from Michigan. Just doing a quick run down through the field. Matt Dominic, Logan Threlkeld, Michael Jones, Noah Michalski, and Nathan Ferrata on that top 5. So a little shuffle here in the top 3 with the 3 drivers that commit to stay out. Then it goes back from Caleb Weekly to Matthew Rafford there in the top 10. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing Challenger Series here on V-Speed. If you're enjoying tonight's action, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. I can't stress it enough. It helps us out tremendously. We're always super thankful for all of you viewers that come back and religiously watch every single race. But some of you might think, I'm subscribed already. I see all your videos all the time. Well, we're constantly putting things out, and if you think we don't go live all the time, well, maybe you're missing those things. So to guarantee that you'll never miss a single race, just go ahead and click that subscribe button just below this video. Go ahead and click that bell as well, and you'll get notifications when we go live. A little shameless plug here on V-Speed. Bradley Cooper, Jeff Wright up in the booth. Let's go back. Green Flag Racing from Michigan for the second time today. This is going to shake up a little bit here on this fuel strategy. Green flag's out. Matt Dominic into turn 1.
These guys behind him on fresh tires are going to have to be really careful navigating these guys. The speed difference is going to be huge. Now you see Michael Jones going to get split 3 wide. The speed differential, like I said, it's going to be very significant here. So they got to make sure they don't run these guys over and try to get through here cleanly.
3 wide here for the lead down the back stretch. Michalski. I apologize. Noah Michalski on the inside of Ferrata. And then on the high line, the 95 of Dominic loses the lead. Here comes the fresh tires. It's a freight train.
Yeah, 3 wide off the exit of 4. You see Caleb Weekly there in the middle, getting kind of side drafted from both sides. Not really where you want to be. Almost making it 4 wide now there for a moment. We get back to 3, but Nathan Ferrata is going to go ahead and grab the lead. And that's another driver that you put out in front, you get some clean air. That's going to be somebody that's going to be tough to run down here. So I'm sure guys like Brian Chambliss there in the 9, Noah Michalski in the 03, they're not going to want to let him get too far out there.
Absolutely not. That would be a situation that probably wouldn't be able to recover from if this thing stays green. You got guys that stayed out here to try to lead some of these laps, and it looks like just 10-15 laps on these tires has been enough to almost a full second fall off.
Yeah, And, you know, these guys that stayed out, they knew what they were getting into here. They knew they're going to be significantly slower. The strategy play is, you know, their hope is we get another caution and say, 10, 15 laps. That would just be perfect for them. Yeah, these guys are definitely going hard for the lead here. Brian Chambliss was the V-Speed odds favorite going into tonight. So we always know that those V-Speed odds are very accurate and predicted last week's winner, Morgan Cook. I don't see Morgan Cook in the field goal tonight, Bradley. It looks like he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, I was actually communicating with him just a moment ago, and now 3 wide again across the line. Would have been photo finish there, and I think the 09 would have got it. Ferrata falls back though on the bottom here from Mahalski, and then on the outside my pick, now a crossover. 09's going to choose the bump graft Mahalski. Ferrata gives a good push. Here comes Caleb Weekly to the top 3.
Man, this is why I love Michigan, Bradley. The racing that you see here is just, it's tough to beat. I mean, there's some other tracks, like Auto Club, which we're going to in the Cup Series later tonight. That puts on good racing too, but man, it's hard to beat Michigan. 3 wide for the lead, back and forth. Brian Chambliss now back to the quarter panel here of Noah Mahalski. He's going to side draft him a little bit. Now he has the advantage being on the outside. We'll see if Brian can pinch Noah down here and try to secure this race lead.
By 2 there momentarily, all the way back to the 7th position. Weekly does a move over the front of Philip Brewer. Brewer now into the fight for the top 3. Now you got the 79 of Jordan Trask almost up there to this battle. Really, it's a breakaway for 8 trucks as they pull out a full 2 seconds away from Bobby Petrika all by himself.
Yeah, you're starting to see a pack separation here. You see guys like Bryce Shoemaker now is safely here inside the top 10. He's a part of this pack. You see Jordan Trask there, Matthew Radford just at the tail end of the pack. If these guys get organized, I mean, they've already kind of broken away, and it looks like they're not really wanting to get in line. Everybody's just going for it. But yeah, these guys could be breaking away from this second pack, and it's going to be just a race between these guys if it goes green.
Very heavy contact there coming out. Looked like Trask got up into the side of Caleb Weekly on the exit of turn 2. Weekly a little loose through 3 and 4. Air off the back spoiler for the 13. He's going to hold on to it, but loses a lot of momentum. Here comes Brewer on the outside. Now looks to the inside. 3 wide across the line.
Jordan Trask also on the inside there. Philip Brewer, Caleb Weekly on the top. 3 wide all the way around here. See Bryce Shoemaker in that 43. He's starting to approach these guys, but now these top 2 are kind of getting away just a little bit from the rest of them. Philip Brewer now clears them, so that draft should bring him right back into it. But I don't see a whole lot of tire saving here, Bradley. I don't see a whole lot of fuel saving. These guys are going for it. They know how valuable this clean air really is, and that's why you're seeing such, an awesome battle here between these top guys.
But I can't say that I blame him. I mean, use them while you got them. You just came down and you were forced to use one of those sets. You probably feel like Superman when you come out here compared to those leaders that had stayed out. But now you're amongst other heroes that are right there on the tail in case you make a mistake. And that's what we're going to see here for probably at least another 5 or 6 laps before these guys settle down.
Yeah, these guys up here that elected to take that first set of tires, they only have 2 sets to the end here. So these guys, you want to take care of each other enough that you don't bring out a caution here, because that hurts everybody that's up here in this pack. So these guys are racing hard, but, they got to race smart here, not to bring out a yellow, because then, guys like Logan Threlkeld, Michael Jones, and Matt Dominic, I believe, who was the other car that stayed out. Now it benefits those guys, and those guys are going to have the advantage. So, but it doesn't look like that's stopping these guys from battling. These guys are battling really hard, and Caleb Weekly's ripping the top, trying to get a good run here off the corner. I think he will have a run here. He's going to try to maybe go underneath Philip Brewer here, or maybe not. Maybe he's going to push him down the back.
It's such a momentum-based racetrack, and it's one of the tracks that you can learn a lot about other tracks just on tire save and momentum, and especially in this truck because it's so momentum-based. It's kind of lower on the power spectrum, and so I mean, you can go back and look at how the iRacing service has changed, but one thing that stayed consistent through all of it is that Michigan has always been momentum-based. And if you can find the line that doesn't scrub that speed and keep carrying it down these straightaways, eventually you will prevail. If these races known for going green, becoming fuel races, you can very easily pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and the draft here too is just such a big factor as well. So everything you just mentioned about, the line sensitivity and the momentum racing, you got to factor in the draft too. So that's just another equation that goes into a track like Michigan here. The side draft too. So not just the draft of, being, towed or pulled down the straightaway by somebody, the side draft, that can, really slow other trucks down. And, you have to use pretty much every single tool in your tool bag to be able to, be successful here. As Noah Maholsky gets really loose there. Good save, but yeah, definitely scrub the tires a little bit on that one.
Held on to it coming out of turn 2. Probably pay the price ultimately a couple laps from now, but peaking 3 wide again. Caleb Weekly up on the high line. He's starting to make a go at the lead again. Then it's Bryce Shoemaker, remember, winner for the 43. Chambliss would be our first repeat winner, but we're 3 wide for the front spot. There's the 13 of Weekly, who's winless this season, trying to take it away.
And Caleb with the big move on the top. He should have the run here on corner exit. And new leader Caleb Weekly to the top spot. I'm sure Grandma Weekly is on her feet watching this one.
Yes. Gonna hold on to it here through 3 and 4. Gonna choose the high line. Taking a lap led for the 13 team. Really good run there out of turn 4. Gonna hold on to it across the stripe. They go single file behind him. Caleb Weekly is gonna tow 4 trucks around this racetrack into 1.
Yeah, I mean, all these trucks just under a blanket right now, trading the lead position back and forth. This has just been awesome to watch. And the fuel situation where that caution fell, Bradley, that I believe that makes it just a one-stopper to the end. So these guys can go just about 28 to 30 laps, I think, tops on a fuel run. So I think that we went back racing with about 65 to go. So I'd imagine these guys are probably either going to try to split this in half, or you might have some guys that just try to run the fuel tank out and then have those fresher tires for the end. But everybody's just so bunched up right now that it looks like it's just hard for anybody to get away from anyone, at least to the guys that took tires. You're really seeing the guys that did not take tires really start to fall back deep in this field. So, and there's some other big players back there too that did not take tires. So guys like Chuck Sweeting, he was leading the race earlier, elected to save that set of tires. So now he's riding back deep in the 20s, and this is actually exactly what those guys wanted. Those guys needed a caution on the back. Yeah, so that's going to help guys like Chuck Sweeting.
And the luck continues.
Oh man, didn't even realize that he was the caution, Bradley. Can't catch a break. And he was racing.
This is up front.
Up there, yeah, up front for the lead.
I was noticing that they had calmed down a little bit. I thought we had settled out. Maybe we could check back through the field for a minute, and as soon as I took the camera off, not sure, Maholsky got loose and came up here. Yeah, he got loose.
Yeah, that's a big hit. That's gonna be a lot of damage for Noah. Philip Brewer also involved, and it looked like Noah was maybe chasing it up at the racetrack just a little bit. I think he said he maybe got loose just a hair, but I think he was maybe thinking that Philip was going to be a little higher up the racetrack on exit. But yeah, you might be right. You might have just got loose, chased it up, and got into the side of Philip there. But either way, yeah, Philip's going to have significant damage from this as well. So two of our front runners having a problem here, bringing up the caution. And exactly like I said earlier, Bradley, these guys that took the tires, they could not have this happen. They really did not want a yellow to come out here, because now you're probably going to use one of your last 2 sets here. And so the guys that are making their second stop now, you only got 1 set of tires left, and you're going to need that for your green flag pit stop. Whereas guys now like Logan Threlkeld, for example, the guys that were on his strategy, they're smiling ear to ear right now because they can come in here, take tires, and they're going to have 2 sets to the end. So that's a big advantage to have an extra set here at Michigan.
Very advantageous indeed. 09's going to win the battle off of pit road, and it looks like the 32 of Chris Rude has stayed out, at least to get a lap led. We'll have to venture to see if he's going to come down the pit road later on. But there's the 32 out on the racetrack as of now. And maybe he's on the flip side. Maybe he was one of those drivers that came in and took tires, and this time around he's going to elect to try to save one of those sets for later on in this race, because it seems like we're getting around that 15 to 20 lap mark right before we have a problem. And if that trend continues, we have probably 3 more opportunities to come in and take 4.
Riley, I think it's a perfect time. Maybe we pull in one of our hometown heroes here to chat under the caution. What do you think?
Absolutely. Which one you got in mind?
I got Bryce Shoemaker, driver of the 43. Well, Bryce, you find yourself up in the top 5. You're running pretty well. Looks like it was a little chaotic up there. What happened with that incident from your vantage point?
It looked like Noah just got loose and overcorrected. I'm going to be honest, it feels like a next gen out here. It's snapping when you don't expect it to. So it's managing your throttle and trying to predict what the truck will do in dirty air.
You guys are now kind of in a tricky spot. You guys elected to come down and take tires that first caution. And obviously after this run, you're kind of in a spot where you have to take another set. Having only one set of tires to the end here now, what does that really do for your strategy? I mean, we get another 10 laps. Are you guys pitting at that point? Or, are you feeling like you got to save this extra set for your green flag pit stop, or maybe have this set of tires for potentially a late race caution? What does this do for you guys on the strategy now?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm really hoping it will just go green, but I think that will be wishful thinking with how the truck is handling. If we get like another 10-lap run like we just did there, I'll probably stay out to save the extra set and hope for a late race caution. But yeah, I mean, we kind of put our eggs in a basket there. I mean, it's all about keeping track position right now, and I don't want to be back there, so I had to take tires. I felt like that was the smartest call, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation that you guys were put in now, only having the one set. But despite all that, you're doing a great job so far tonight. You find yourself up in the top 5 at your home racetrack. Good luck rest of the end.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Little tongue twister there, Bradley. But either way, Bryce Shoemaker, hometown hero here at Michigan International, as well as Keith Shoemaker in the field. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him later tonight.
Happens to the best of us, Jeff. I've been guilty of that. It happens to me almost weekly, so I can make it through an entire broadcast without a little hiccup now and then. Green flag is out, back underway. Chris Rude, who is 18-lap-old tires on this stint. He's going to go green and lead him into turn 1. Big jump here on the restart.
Yeah, I think he caught everybody sleeping. Must have went early in the Geico restart zone there, but now you're going to see the speed differential here as we get into the corner. So these guys are going to catch him really quick. Looks like they're probably going to try to take him 3 wide here. Caleb Weekly's going to go middle. I believe that's Ferrata down there on the bottom, as he's going to clear for the race lead and have the lead going into 3.
I'm just impressed with how aggressive this 13 truck has been. Not somebody that we pick, but he's kind of flying under the radar here tonight. I think he's going to give them a run for their money later in this race. Based off of his speed, if we can go green, I think he could take it over.
Also, there's another name that I'm seeing that's higher up on the charts now, and that is Dakota Floyd. So he was deep in the pack earlier tonight. Didn't get a great qualifying effort, so was kind of further back. But now he's inside the top 10, making a pass here on Jordan Trask. We obviously know how good he is every single week. We looked like he was going to be the guy to beat at Nashville until the late race restart was decided, and Morgan Cook got the jump on him, got to the outside, and ended up winning the race. So I know Dakota Floyd is going to be a factor now, and I know he wants some redemption from last week.
4 wide down here with Logan Threlkeld taking a look at this cluster of trucks going into turn 1. It is a hornet's nest back here. Philip Brewer, the 32 of Chris Rude, who stayed out, has fallen all the way back here to about 15th position, and they're still 3 wide.
Yeah, that was chaotic there for a moment there. Glad that we get through that safely, as we're going to ride on board here with Ben Laughter. And you can see just these trucks have so many options of so many different lanes that they can utilize. You can run all the way down at the bottom, which it has a little bit less banking down there. So really the preferred groove around here that you've seen most of the night is just about a lane off the bottom, at least in the corners. So you have the extra banking. Sometimes, if your truck's getting tight, you can straddle that first seam or go all the way down here like you're seeing on the onboard right here Problem is, you can get loose on a corner
Yeah.
exit, and we saw a good example of that just right there.
Yep, you're going to see an example of that every time you touch that bottom lane. It seems to be a little bit slippery, kind of like an apron. A little bit flat. This progressive banking, it really works in your favor if you utilize it correctly, but when you get pinched down there, it's a matter of just pure driver talent at that point. Try not to scrub the speed and lose the momentum to get to the inside on the exit of the corner. That's the art here at Michigan, because it's almost impossible to pass on the bottom with the wrong person to your outside. He's got him 4 wide.
Yeah,
Really pinched.
Yeah, it's not stopping these guys from trying that very bottom lane. And, you know, with as much traffic jam that we got right now, sometimes that's the only option. And if you got the fresher tires and you need to make passes, you're going to have to utilize that top lane. You just got to be ready, though, that truck's going to step out, because it does get really loose down there.
Caleb Weekly takes the lead back over. I think that happened about a lap ago, and now starting to show his strength again. He took it over, I believe it was on around lap 20 or so. Seems like this truck loves the clean air, and he's able to pull away a little bit from Nathan Ferrata. Some gap between him and the rest of the field.
Yeah, and you see Ferrata and Radford, they're battling side by side. Exactly what Caleb wants to see here as the race leader. But, you know, this isn't the first time this season that we've seen this 13 truck drive to the front and take the lead. We saw that at Charlotte just a handful of weeks ago. At Charlotte, it looked like the problem was that he just wasn't able to maintain, the long run speed. His tires got chewed up a little bit here. So now that Caleb's in a position with the race lead, now you got to try to figure out what's the best way to kind of save and preserve those tires, but also at the same time, not allow these guys behind you to get a run on you. It's a really hard balance to try and find.
Oh, sideways!
Trouble.
That was Logan Threlp. No, who was that?
And Ferrata, I believe, got tangled up there. Tross almost flipped. Almost started barrel rolling.
Grass definitely left the ground and hit the catch fence on the backstretch.
Man, I'm surprised that he's able to roll away from that incident. That looked really bad.
Well, let's see what happened here. This is through 1 and 2. We're going to come off to the corner, across the nose. That's the second time we've seen that, and almost a blowover for the 79. Just locks it down in the middle of the backstretch. A little contact after the fact. Hold on, this is going to be wild. Not as much contact with that wall as I thought, but man, can you imagine all of those trucks storming towards you? We try to get a better look at this from an onboard.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's just lucky to have a truck that's able to roll at this point. So even though he got up, he got airborne, he came back down on all fours, and I don't think he got hit by anything else. Obviously, he's locking it down. You see holding that brake pedal all the way to the ground. Almost a close call there. Was that a Benjamin Richards?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that was close. So I guess good heads up there, Benjamin, not to hit him. But yeah, this could have been a lot worse than what it actually was. So I'm sure Jordan's happy at least that he's still got a truck to compete with.
And those are one of those moments where you kind of look at what's happening. I think with Benjamin Richards, he's seeing what he's trying to avoid, but locked onto it.
Yeah, and the smoke was kind of also hiding Jordan. You know, he had it locked down. He was obviously sliding all four tires. So just kind of a cloud of smoke there, and Benjamin really didn't see him till the last moment, but at least had the heads up driving there to be able to make a quick action there and miss him, so that they can both continue on here.
Oh, we're just past the halfway point in this race. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. More coverage will continue of the Saturday Night Racing Challenger Series right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further, because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive at Warner. Might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he bumped in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Here live from Michigan, just in time for another restart. Green flag is out, and it'll be the fourth time today that we've seen that green flag fly. Last caution, Jordan Trass. Sideways down the backstretch, almost had a blowover. Still has a truck to compete with, but unfortunately, Jeff, both our picks, they're kind of on the outside looking in here.
Yeah, we might have jinxed him, Bradley, but nonetheless, we're seeing a mixed-up race, so this is fun to see. You see Bobby Petrika restarted on the front row there. Ferrata, I think, is going to get this lead from him here as he goes down into turn one. But, good run for Bobby to be up front here, and I know he always has some, good camera onboards for us to watch as well. He's got an awesome sim rig, and he's out there running well right now.
On board with the 78. He stayed out. He had 13 lap old tires. So did Ferrata. And remember, Ferrata was on the back end of that last caution. Had the 79 of Trask go across his nose. Trask is back in the 22nd position as of right now. There's Caleb Weekly just behind Petrika. He's got the freshest tires up here. This top three looking to try to capitalize. We were talking about the strategy just a second before we came back from that commercial. Jeff, your opinion? It's going to be whoever saves that last set is probably going to prevail.
Yeah, I mean, the way this race started, it looked like the guys that took tires were just going to check out, and maybe those other guys weren't going to have a chance. But now mixed up a little bit and had some cautions fall at just the right times. Now we're seeing lots of different strategies out here. I think there's at least 3 different tire strategies right now. There's some people that are on brand new tires. There's some people that are on like 11 lap old tires, I think, like you mentioned. And then there's even some guys further back that I think are still, they still have 2 sets of tires, up on the wall in the pits. So, if it gets down to it at the end here and we start seeing more frequent yellows, I feel like those guys that got those extra sets are really going to get a big advantage from having those.
Look at that camera angle of the 3 wide across the line. The V-Speed drone camera was working pretty hard there just last week, and I know we had a kind of a rough race there when we visited Tennessee. We had our Nashville Super Speedway race, which, like I said, we had a surprise winner, but not so much a surprise. The V-Speed odds picked I'm drawing a blank on the number, but it was Morgan Cook that got it done. I think he's the 51 in that league as well, right?
I think so, Bradley. Couldn't confirm for you, but I do know he was up. He was the favorite for the V-Speed odds the week he won. Tonight is Brian Chambliss, so a race winner from Charlotte earlier this week. I guess the V-Speed odds makers and the algorithms, they're drawing some Conclusions that, there's some similarities, I guess, between these tracks. I mean, they're both big, sweeping tracks. We saw Brian Chambliss up here battling for the lead, but he got involved in an incident. Now I believe he's out of the race. So the V-Speed odds aren't going to go back-to-back tonight. But I'll tell you what, there's some pretty good value out there. I saw V-Speed odds had Nathan Ferrata plus almost 100,000. I guess they didn't think he was going to be here tonight, but here he is leading the race.
Based off of the statistics, we try to cycle that algorithm as many times as we can, go through every scenario. What we can't predict is an accident that will take one of these drivers out. If we could factor that in, man, we'd all be millionaires.
I think right now a guy that's sitting in a really good spot here is going to be Chuck Sweeting. I do know Chuck was one of those drivers that did save a set early, so I don't know if he ended up taking a set of tires under this last caution, but sitting in second here, he's obviously very fast, and if he gets this lead from Ferrata, I think we could see this 75 check out.
Off of turn 4, has a pretty good run. He's going to draft up to the 09 just before the entry of turn 1. Backs it off the throttle. Looks like he's going to try to set up with a little bit of clean air. He goes back to, I'm really impressed that Ferrata has been able to pull away from this field with as long as he was out there on that last stint. We're talking about 10 laps, 11 laps. Compared to Chuck Sweeting now, it's 10-lap difference on tires, and Chuck's not passing him like he's sitting still. It's within a tenth or two of each other's lap times. He did chase him down rather quickly, but now that he's in that dirty air, I think that's holding him at bay for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that Chuck, he probably knows that he can maybe go up there and push hard and probably grab the lead. But, with where we're at in the race, he probably feels, that there's really no need for that just right now. I think he can maybe ride here and maybe save some tires. I think Nathan's probably holding back a little bit too, trying to save some tires. But when it's go time, that's when it gets exciting. That's when we're seeing those 2 and 3 wide moves. Seems like the pack is calming down just a little bit now. I mean, we still see some 2 wide back there, but earlier on, Bradley, 3 wide for the lead. That was entertaining to watch.
There's Max Cost into the top 5, and we got trouble behind him. Michael Jones, sideways, yellows out. Bryce Shoemaker destroyed.
Bryce Shoemaker, the hometown hero that we just talked to under one of the last cautions there. That's a hard hit. That's going to be tough for Bryce. I mean, having such a great run, was up in the top 5. Was just trying to take care of it, kind of mind his own business and try to be there at the end, but he's going to get collected in an incident here.
This was for about the 5th or 6th position, roughly. A little further back than that, actually. It's about the 8th spot here. There's contact with the 2 of Michael Jones. And, it looks like the 97.
Oh, Jeremy Reed just got clipped there, too, by Bryce coming back down the track, but...
And then both these trucks, there's been laughter, and Matthew Radford is second in points. He's trying to have a stellar day. Looks like that truck's beat up. Back this up one more time. This is kind of unrelated to the second incident, trying to avoid Bryce Shoemaker.
Yeah, you see the 65 there, Jace Coley, making his season debut here in the Challengers, friend of Noah Mahalski. So he gets by okay, but yeah, Logan Threlkeld even got a piece of it. Radford, Laughter, Shoemaker all involved. But yeah, it looks like it all started just with the 2 getting to the 43 and just kind of turn him around. So it looked like it happened in the center of the corner, so I don't know exactly what happened. But I do know it looked like the 2 and the 43 made contact, and that's kind of what set everything off. Yeah, these guys start braking, trying to avoid it, and just nowhere to go. I think we're on board Logan right here, so.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to get a piece of it. I don't know how bad it is, but.
Yeah, he has those socks. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think he's going to be okay. Although I think we have a new race leader right now, and let's see, is that Max Koss stayed out? I don't think he came to pit lane here.
No.
Oh, but even before all this, he was running 4th, I think. So really good run here for Max. He's obviously having a great point season too here in the SNR Challenger Series, and Yeah,
he's fourth in points.
Yeah, fourth in points. So great run here for Max, trying to get up a little bit further. Jordan Trask, I'm trying to see where he's running right now, but he's a little bit deeper in the field at the moment. So this is an opportunity for Max to potentially jump Jordan in the points if he can stay up here and finish up here. And Dakota,
30-point deficit here.
Yeah, and Dakota Floyd has obviously been strong everywhere we've gone this season, so he's definitely going to be tough to beat for this championship points standings. Drop week has not been factored in yet, though, so it's 10-race season, but you do get to drop your worst finish, so you're only scored on your 9 best finishes, and that's yet to be calculated in. So that might shake up points a little bit. I know there's a few guys that missed a few races, so that might bring this points battle even closer by the time we get to race 10.
Another shake up on the strategy. We get set to go back green here on lap 54. I mean, you're kind of throwing the fuel part of this race out the window, but the tire's still at a premium. And for Max Koss staying out, he's got about 10 laps of a difference on these tires, roughly. I think it's probably the slimmest that we've seen. Most of these guys that have stayed out have had 10 plus. So for Max, this is a little bit more of a relaxed move. He showed speed for top 10. Let's see if he can maintain this lead, though. This is an entirely different ballgame. You've got drivers like Ferrata, Sweeting, even back there with 13 of Caleb Weekly, who's fallen back to 9th. You've got your points leader, who hasn't really been up front. He's been in the top 10 here lately, but hasn't led any laps yet. Looking to see some of these other drivers maybe make a challenge, as we have, I believe, a driver blinking. That's Chuck Sweeting having a connection issue just before this restart. But this is a perfect chance for you to find those volume knobs on your smart device, that remote control, wherever your kids are hiding it. And let's get loud, presented by 29 Graphics. Let's get loud, presented by 29 Graphics. Chuck Sweeting takes over the point. We had some 3 wide back there again, about the 15th position. It just continues on if you're outside this top 10.
And we're really seeing the strategy mix up too now, because you got some drivers that have used their last set of tires. So those guys are hoping this thing goes green to the end here, but it's really starting to heat up as we see Philip Brewer going 3 wide into the corner to turn 3. He's going to try to take away a 2-for-1 special here. He's going to just clear Matt Dominic there. And how about Matt Dominic? I mean, he started back in 11th, and we've seen him go to the tail end of the field and now back to the front. Been seeing a lot of comers and goers tonight here. Just as a result of all the different tire strategy that's going on.
Speaking of comers and goers, yeah, the 13 of Caleb Weekly, who restarted back in the 9th position on this restart, worked his way back up to 5th and got a little crowded there out of turn 4. I think he had a brief brush with the wall. That 13 doesn't look like it has any substantial damage now as it goes to the outside of Anathian. But there's the 57 of Dakota Floyd that we haven't talked about. He's about to get into the top 5.
Yeah, and I think he's another one of those drivers that's played the strategy right. I think he's got a setup of tires up on the wall too, but I mean he's running well right now. But I think another caution comes out. I think he'd be one of the few trucks that could put a set of tires on, and then it would be really tough to beat. So he's getting himself up into the top 5 here when it counts.
And there's a winner, a one-time winner this season, Austin Belkey. Maybe he could be our repeat winner. A lot of potential throughout this field for a new name, or somebody that could put 2 of them together. 11 laps to go when they cross the stripe here. Chuck Sweeting with the lead.
Yeah, I mean, this entire top 5 as they run, I guess with the exception of, Dakota Floyd hasn't won yet. I mean, he's been close, and I feel like he's been good enough to win just about everywhere. But I don't think anybody inside the top 5 right now has won. So our odds of getting a new race winner tonight look pretty good. And Chuck Sweeting, he's out front when it counts. I feel like this is going to be a really tough pass for Philip Brewer to be able to make here on this 75, but we're getting down to crunch time here. These guys are not holding back. These guys are going to be pushing these trucks, trying to get everything they can get.
Yeah, 10 to go. This is where if you have anything left, you got to show it. I know you were talking about the strategy, but I think at this point in the race, I don't know if I'd want to come back down pit road. If I'm having that extra set of tires, if I'm in the top 10, I'm going to stay out. I'm going to take the gamble that there's not enough time left. We have a late caution that would bail some of these other guys out that maybe outside the top 10. They could pick up a few spots. But if I'm Chuck Sweeting, Philip Brewer, anybody all the way back to Michael Jones, I'm going to stay out. I don't want to take the chance of losing all that track position and then, we don't have enough time left to make up the spots.
Yeah, and you only have 2 green-white checkered attempts in this series as well, so that's kind of got to play a factor, especially with it being late. A lot of times, yeah, like you said, you're not going to have a lot of time to try and make up those positions. So I feel like a lot of these guys here that are inside the top 10, if caution falls, yeah, we're probably not going to see them on pit lane here as it's go time right now.
Oh, truck sideways. I believe that was Denton locking it down, and there's the late caution. Neon Auto Racing has not had a good day.
No, a lot of their drivers involved in some bad luck. I mean, Bryce Shoemaker, Noah Mahalski's bad luck continues. Now Rob Denton spins. Yeah, not a great day for them. I mean, Caleb Weekly's up here in the top 5 right now. He's kind of carrying the banner for Neon Auto at the moment, the way it stands. But with this caution coming out, we're going to see who's got tires left up on the wall and who doesn't. I think we talked about the guys that are up here towards the front. Even if you do have a set, it's risky to go back there. Just because by the time we go back green, we're going to be inside 5 laps to go. It's not a lot of time here. And so I feel like guys like Chuck Sweeting and Philip Brewer, they're probably for sure not going to go down pit road. But some of these guys that are further back in the pack that have an extra set, you might as well come down and put that set on. But yeah, I just feel like we're not going to have enough time for, to see somebody go from the back to the front in a short period of time like that.
Take a look at our pit entry here. If we have any takers down pit road. I was looking at the physics here of this truck, and it looks like blowovers are definitely a possibility, especially with the speed down the backstretch. Here's a few takers down pit road. Yeah. Max Koss, of course, he was on the other side of that strategy after he had stayed out on that last restart and fell back to around the 17th position. So if he has an extra set of tires, this makes sense in my perspective that he comes in, gets 4 fresh ones. He's able to recover probably to the top 10 if we stay green.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting through the traffic cleanly, which, that can be tough in the late race goings here. I mean, we're going to see 3 wide probably by the time we get to turn 1. You know, we're going to be inside the 5 lap mark. So, but yeah, no brainer for Max to come get tires. Teresa, she's going to take tires. So we're going to see, you know, how much of a difference they make. You know, the question is, do they have enough time to get up to the top 10, to the top 5? I think you can probably get to the top 10. I think that's doable. But, you know, to go get a race win now with this big tire advantage, it's possible, Bradley, but it's a tall task.
That's a very tall task, especially with the drivers that have stayed out. You're going all the way back to about the 15th position. So it's a lot of work in a short amount of time. We've seen it done, but not really at tracks this big. So I know that there's the possibility of the extension of this race. You know, you see that counter up on the top left-hand side just below that V-Speed logo that says 70 laps, but we can extend this race all the way to 76. It's definitely still a possibility that we can tack on some extra laps and give these guys more of a chance. But right now, we're sitting at about 3 to go when we go back green. It's just a weird scenario for anybody outside the top 10 to try to win this race.
Yeah, it definitely is. And looks like we're going to get, pace car lights are still on, I believe, aren't they? I was going to see if maybe we want to pull a driver. We got an extra lap.
Just turned off those lights, actually. I think we're
Okay,
one to
well,
green.
I think we can get a quick word in here with
All
Dakota
right.
Floyd. I'd like to get his perspective. Dakota Floyd, it's Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the booth. You got a copy, driver.
I hear you.
Well, it's been an eventful day for you so far. I mean, we saw you start in the back, kind of worked your way up middle pack. Now you find yourself here towards the front when it counts. What do you need to go out there and maybe get a win?
I just need to keep the truck clean for the next few laps, hope I'm in a good position, and just try to make some aggressive passes here with everyone's tires being pretty much equal now.
I'm going to guess that you guys here towards the front didn't have an extra set. You guys had probably already used all your tires. Is that the right, I guess, situation that we're in here with you guys here?
Yeah, I think pretty much all of the top 10, we're all on the same tires. No one's got an extra set left. We've all burned them up one way or another.
All right, well, we're getting ready to go back green here, so good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Well, Bradley, he's there when it counts, so
Yeah.
we saw him back in the 20s early. Now he's inside the top 5 here with a chance to maybe go win the race.
New name to the list or a repeat winner. What will we witness here tonight from Michigan? Green flag is out. Chuck Sweeting on the loud pedal. And the 13 on the outside. Caleb Weekly giving a shot to the 44 as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, Chuck got a really good start here, and Caleb did Philip Brewer a big favor, giving him a nice push there to kind of get him back towards Chuck. They're going to have the draft now here on the 75, so we'll see what they're going to do with it.
I like this on the outside. It's going to be momentum based, and this highline probably going to be the fastest way through these corners. 5 laps to go here from Michigan. The Challenger Series going to put on one heck of a good finish. I can see the Verada to the inside. The 57 loses the position. Matt Dominic into the top 5 again. Austin Belkey back there. That's your highest up for winners this season. Challenge for the lead. The 44 Brewer peeks to the outside. Nothing to it yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Chuck now, you got to protect your outside. You cannot let anybody get to your outside. I feel like that's the only way that you're going to be able to get past here. So Philip Brewer's going to look to the inside. If I'm Chuck, that's what I want him to do. I don't want him to try to get to my outside. Now Chuck, he needs to be able to pinch him here and hold him at bay.
He didn't pinch enough, and that's a pass. The 44 and a crossover across the front stretch and side by side into turn 1. I don't know if Sweeting's going to clear him. The 44 Brewer is going to pinch, and we peak 3 wide with Ferrata.
Wow, what a move, though, by Philip Brewer to grab the race lead there from Chuck Sweeting. But he is battling back hard.
Sideways.
We got contact sideways. See if they can save it. No, Philip Brewer's going to go around.
And we're into overtime territory with that 3 laps to go. I believe Philip Brewer gets the worst end of this. There's another truck in the wall there. I believe that's the 2 of Michael Jones.
And Bradley, that's just a product of, really, really hard racing there. I mean, they kept it clean, through the first set of corners there, but I mean, they're just trying to get all they can here, and then sometimes contact is, it's just a product of racing. It's gonna happen. It looked like for a moment maybe Philip was gonna be able to save it, but
it was a handful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a handful, and it just got away from him. And then another hard hit there. Was that Patrica that got in the wall there?
Yes.
So that's gonna be a lot of damage there for Bobby. He's definitely gonna have to come down pit lane, I think, for repairs.
We're going to back this up one more time. You're going to see the onboard. Right here is just a little hip check. And I think he chose wisely to put it to the outside. That is a heads-up move there. Veteran driver in the 44. And he picks up minimal damage because of it as well. But he very easily could have tried to keep correcting that truck to the inside and came across 40 other trucks, or at least 20 other trucks.
Yeah, definitely could have been a bigger incident. So the fact that he overcorrected into the wall, made the incident so that he got damaged, Bobby got damaged. I didn't really see if anybody else had anything. I think Bobby's was just a result of trying to avoid it. I don't know if Bobby had contact and that got him up on the wall or not. I guess I'd have to go back and watch the replay, but I mean, now our top 5 sits: Sweeting, Ferrata, Floyd, Dominic, and Belke, and just Caleb Weekly just outside in 6th. And I really think that to win this race, I feel like on this restart, you gotta be probably in the top 3 rows. So 1st through 6th, you're in a pretty good spot. If they get together, though, I mean, then that all changes. I mean, look at Logan Threlkel. He's battled his way back up into the top 10. He was involved in, I believe he got a little bit of damage from somebody's spin earlier, but he must have been able to fix
check up
most of
there. That was I believe he got into the back of the 97 there, out of 4. That was when we saw, let's see, 4 different trucks involved in that.
Yeah, I don't remember who it quite was.
Yeah, there was quite a few.
Yeah, there was a handful of them. So, and like I said, I thought he got damaged from that. So a good recovery for Logan to be restarting here in 8th. Jordan Trask finds himself in 9th. And how about Teresa Spiker up inside the top 10?
Into overtime for the first time today. We'll have 2 attempts at our green-white checkered. Those of you that don't know how that works, we are going to extend the race an additional 3 laps. When these drivers double back up, they're going to take the green flag. It will be 2 to go. If the drivers can make it back around to the white flag, the race will official, and we will go to that checkered flag. If we have a yellow before the drivers can take that white flag, we will extend the race one more time. If the race were to have another yellow before that white flag on the second attempt, it will end under caution, and the race will be official in those finishing orders as the yellow came out. So here we go with Chuck Sweeting. He's got the lead. He's maintained on these restarts. We've got a few drivers back here that have taken fresh tires. Teresa Spiker is one of those. You've got Benjamin Richards also on a fresh set. I think everybody that saved that last set of tires here is going to look really good for the finish of this race.
Yeah, they're sitting in a pretty good spot. So I wasn't sure if, drivers like Teresa that took tires there late would be able to get to where they are right now. So the fact that they're inside the top 10 here, and with an opportunity at 2 potential green-white checkers, we might not be done yet here, Bradley. We could have some more chaos before this is all said and over. But yeah, look for the 70 there of Teresa Spiker. She might be making big moves here to turn 1 on the high side.
Chuck Sweeting gonna restart from the lead for the 3rd time today. Dakota Floyd on the inside, 2nd row. Hasn't won yet this season. He's leading the points. Ferrata on the outside. Matt Dominic following him. Green flag is out. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 from Michigan.
Yeah, good jump here for Chuck Sweeting. Looks like Ferrata is going to get single file in line. But how about Dakota Floyd? We just talked to him, up to 3rd place now here. We'll see if we can go run down the leaders.
Looking back on this back straightaway, it's single file for the top 4, top 5 spots. Logan Threlkel will be the first side-by-side. He looked to the inside of Caleb Weekly. Coming out of turns 3 and 4, this is where the white flag could go up in the air. And go for the lead, Ferrata to the bottom.
Yeah, Ferrata's going to get to the inside here of Chuck Sweeting. They're going to be dead even with the 1 to go.
1/1000th of a second across that line. Chuck Sweeting led that lap by, but the white flag is out. Final time around for the Challenger Series at Michigan, the 2-mile speedway.
If you're Dakota Floyd here, what do you do right now? You're going to get a big draft here down the straightaway.
I think you take him 3 wide. Look at the block down the backstretch.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting is going to say not going to be denied. Going to have to send it in hard here on the bottom, but Ferrata's got the preferred line.
And they're 3-4 wide back here in the 10th position, but off of turn 4 for the final time, side by side, a door check, 3 wide for the lead. Ferrata is gonna get the win at Michigan.
Wow, what a finish. Doesn't get much better than that, and I think if Dakota Floyd would have opted to push Chuck Sweeting, it might have been a different story, but of course, Dakota's racing his own race. He was gonna go bottom 3, try to win it, but man, what a race by Nathan to get the win there, and doesn't get much closer than that.
2/100ths of a second roughly across that line. Chuck Sweeting trying to get that first win of the season, but it's Nathan Ferrata that gets his first win. Zero 7 has been strong. I know it's the 09 on the sides of that truck, but how about that for Ferrata? I mean, he came so close at so many places, led so many laps, and now finally puts it all together.
Yeah, and just what an awesome finish too. I mean, they were battling hard, they kept it clean. I was wondering if Chuck was going to be able to side draft Nathan a little bit there and maybe pull him back, but Nathan just did everything right there on those closing laps, got to the high side, got to the preferred groove, and when you get to the outside like that, you can really control, the end of this. Although it was still really close, Chuck Sweeting almost did it, but Nathan Ferrata, what a race.
A happy Canadian Thanksgiving and happy win for the 07. Post-race interviews with your top 3. Those final results will come up right after this. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. Final results coming up right after this.
What's up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back. He's going to send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're going to... Joshua Banks is going to win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to B-Speed and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Lap traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag lap.
This race still very undecided.
They had the lift. Big run for McGuire. This is going to be his chance.
They're running out of time, and they know it. horsepower at their feet.
That was a huge run for Bradley. He got back the advantage, but here comes a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Here comes Ray Massey. Ray Massey's going to win it.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
You're live from Michigan International. The Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series has concluded its race of 70 laps and added on 3 additional for a green-white checkered. It was a Nathan Ferrata who's going to get his first win of the season. Chuck Sweeting, who restarted on that front spot, just not able to hold on. He gave a lot of room there, Jeff, but it looked like maybe a little bit too much and wasn't able to recover.
Yeah, you know, Chuck really opened up the door for Ferrata to really send it in there deep, and I didn't think he was going to clear him. But then, you know, when Ferrata got to the outside, I knew it was going to be really tough for Chuck Sweeting to battle back. And Ferrata just did a great job. He had the preferred groove, and you know, he gave Chuck just enough room on the bottom, but not enough to really make anything happen there, and he comes home race winner.
On the results up on your screen, it was 19 lead changes here tonight for 6 cautions. 3 there on your screen. Dakota Floyd's going to be in the 3rd spot with Caleb Weekly in 4th. Top 5 day. Teresa Spiker. How about that for the 70? Started in 15th. Matt Dominic is going to finish in 6th position with Austin Belkey in 7th. Benjamin Richards, a great finish for him as well. And Logan Threlke on the top 10. Bryce Shoemaker is going to round out those top 10 positions.
In 11th, it's going to be Jace Coley in his first ever start here in the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series, followed by Matt Shanowski. Chris Rude gets 13th. Jordan Trask falls back to 14th. Keith Shoemaker, a Michigan hometown hero as well, rebounded. He was kind of towards the back, got it caught up in a bit of a few things, and so battles back to get a top 15. Mark McFadden will finish 16th. Noah Mahalski, the bad luck continues. He'll fall to 17th. Max Koss, he was up in the top 5 late, but the strategy just didn't quite work out for him. I think he got caught up in something after taking those 4 tires. He'll get 18th. Rob Denton 19th, and Bobby Petrika, your top 20.
7 more trucks to talk about here. Michael Jones will finish in 21st with Radford. Not a good day for him. He was trying to make up some points. It looked like he could there at the start. He'll finish 22nd. Philip Brewer, troubles for him down the backstretch. He'll finish in 23rd after an early exit. And then it goes back to Jeremy Reed for 25th. Brian Chambliss, I believe that was my pick tonight. Unfortunate. For the 9, he'll finish in 26th. And then it's Joe Spinelli and the 76 rounding out your field here today. So with that, we catch up with your top 3. First driver we're going to get the chance to talk to, it's our third place finisher, Dakota Floyd. And he was able to put it all together there in those closing laps. Dakota, I gotta say, man, I admire your ability to start in 21st position, and somehow with under 20 to go, you find yourself in the top 3.
Wow, I can tell you what was not an easy task. I don't know, for whatever reason here, I'm just terrible at qualifying. I can't ever figure out how to be fast. But at the early run, I was like, okay, people probably overdrive their stuff. The truck's already driving super loose. I'll just wait for people to start getting a little too slippery, and I'll start to go by people. But it just never ended up that way, because whether it be cautions or the tires didn't even really fall off that hard, to be honest. We never got long enough into a run to really figure it out. But some of those yellows fell into my lap pretty well, and I just had to start picking off 1-2 trucks at a time, and we ended up in the front.
Well, you find yourself deep in this field. There was a lot of carnage there early. You were able to avoid most of it. But, I mean, walk us through how does it feel here at Michigan when you're that far back? It's just such a draft-oriented track. It's kind of like starting at the back of Daytona.
You know, it's like you said, starting the back of Daytona, you just got to kind of hope some things go your way. Because if they don't, you don't really have much control over it. And yeah, with it being such a draft-oriented track, you just got to hope that you stay out of the carnage. And thankfully, I did tonight. I swear it seemed almost every yellow was around me. I thought I might have been the bad omen tonight, but we were able to stay out of the way and bring it home.
And the Tom's Castrol Toyota Tundra is going to be another top 3 here. Winless this season, still leading the points. Anybody you want to shout out here, Dakota, while we have you in the booth?
Well, always got to shout out the league. You know, you guys for putting on races every week for us. SNR has been an absolute blessing of great, fantastic racing. Lots of talent in both series, and I couldn't really ask for better. We had a couple more cautions than we usually do, but I think with how this track races, you'll get that. Shout outs to all my teammates. I know none of them really couldn't make it out tonight. Everyone was busy tonight or nursing injuries, but shout out to those guys. And thank you guys at the broadcast booth at V-Speed. You guys are doing fantastic. Always a blast to go back and watch. And thank you for everyone watching. Like I always say, without you guys, we don't have a show to put on.
Appreciate your time, Dakota Floyd. Congratulations on another top 3 day. We look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Appreciate it, Brad. You guys have a wonderful night.
And that is Dakota Floyd, your third place finisher here tonight. Catching up on pit road, we have Jeff Wright down with Chuck Sweeting. Take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm down here on pit lane here with the number 75 of Chuck Sweeting, and just so close tonight to breaking through and grabbing that first victory here. But just what more did you need there, Chuck? Or is there anything you really could have done differently there to maybe snag that win there?
I don't know. I did everything I could speed-wise. I almost think it was better to be in second place and use the draft to make that pass. But I don't know. I'm happy with second. That's one of the few decent finishes I've had in the series, so I'll take it and try to improve on it.
Yeah, Chuck. Well, we know that you haven't quite gotten a lot of the finishes we feel like you've deserved. You always come to the racetrack in both series and show a lot of speed, but it kind of just seems like you and a couple of these other guys, man, we just have been plagued by some bad luck. And so I'm sure this feels good to get a good finish, get a top 3. I know it's probably not the win that you wanted, but to come out of here with a solid finish and not have the bad luck, I'm sure that feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you're having a bad year, if you can get a podium finish, then it's a good night. So, yeah, I'll take it. I don't know what else I could have done. It was there were a lot of cautions in the race, and I don't think that helped me. I prefer the long runs, but truck felt pretty good. So the racing was really good, clean. Not sure what happened on that last caution. If If I did anything wrong, I don't think I did, but yeah, otherwise it was a pretty clean race and good clean racing.
Yeah, well, we're going to a very similar track here in just a little bit at Auto Club Speedway. Um, similar in size at least, but they sure race, very differently. We've seen, in seasons past, you've been pretty competitive at Auto Club. For one, are you going to make it to Auto Club tonight? And if you do, you think you got something to go out there and maybe compete for a win?
Yeah, I'm already there practicing. I hopefully I will run pretty good. I struggled on. I just talked about I prefer long runs. I've struggled on long runs at California the last couple times. So I'm going to try to improve on that tonight and hopefully maybe get a top five. This series is very competitive, as you know. So um, hopefully get a good finish and clean finish and maybe get a top five.
Yeah, well, congrats again on third place finish here at Michigan. We're going to go to Kansas next week in the Challenger Series. I know you tend to run pretty good at Kansas as well. Has that been a track that's been circled on your calendar? You looking forward to Kansas Speedway next week?
Kansas, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. I'm comfortable there. I got pretty good speed there, but you can get caught up in a wreck really easy there. It's real easy to hit the wall off of turn 4 or for the guy in front of you to hit it and you just get caught up in it. So um, we'll see how it goes, see what the setup feels like, and I should have some good speed, and we'll see if we can bring home a good finish.
Well, before we let you go, Chuck, anybody would you like to give a shout out?
Just thanks to the league, all of you admins, and all the hard work you guys do behind the scenes. I know it's not easy having a league and running it, and a lot of guys, a lot of people look after. So appreciate all that, and appreciate the fans for watching, and hopefully they'll stay tuned and see what we do in California.
All right. Congrats again on P3 here at Michigan, and maybe we'll be talking to you again here after the Auto Club Speedway race.
I hope so. Thanks, Joe.
So that was Chuck Sweeting, driver of the number 75. So close, Bradley. He's been fast consistently, right? I mean, there's never been a race where Chuck hasn't been fast, but he finally had that win right in front of him and just slipped away ever so slightly. But we do have that race winner that you're standing by next to now. It's Nathan Ferrata. He gets the win here tonight at Michigan.
Yes, I am standing here. Nathan, I got to say, I've butchered your name enough. You earned your way into victory lane. I'm going to get it right. Congratulations on the first win of the season. But let's take it back to the beginning of this race. You're sitting back in 5th position to start this thing. You're probably thinking, okay, this is another one of those days where I qualify well. Where do I end up? Well, you're victorious here at Michigan. How does it feel, man?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, I knew I had the speed. I did some long runs in practice, so I kind of knew how the truck would behave under, older tires. So I was pretty optimistic about longer runs. But I really hope we could have gotten more green flag runs. I think there were quite a lot of cautions, so didn't really see that slipping and sliding in the corners. But it was great racing anyways, and a great finish as well, 3 wide to the line. So I had a blast driving these things.
You go into turns 3 and 4. Chuck Sweeting gives you a lot more room. Were you predicting that he would give you that much to enter and exit that corner?
Not at all. No, I did expect him to give me just enough room. Not that much though. That kind of took me by surprise, but it's just great racing. Very respectful and everything. I think I had an incident earlier in the race. I think it was the 79 that made contact with me. He was saying that maybe I should have gone a little bit up higher to the wall, but didn't do it. But that happens, and I'm sorry to him for ruining his race pretty much. But yeah, great racing out there, very respectful, hard racing, and I'm just glad I came out with the win just this one time. I qualified pretty well in the Cup Series, and just doesn't really show it in the results at the end of the day. So I'm really happy to get the win this one time.
Well, Nathan, I've talked to you before. I know that you're a threat anywhere we go. But before we go to Kansas, is there anybody that you'd like to shout out? And before we go to Auto Club in just a few minutes, anybody you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, my friend is watching the race right now, so big shout out to him. Big shout out to my sponsor, Q Analytics. They are always on board with me, so I'm pretty thankful for them. And yeah, thankful for you guys. Great broadcast week in and week out. So thank you guys for that as well.
Nathan Ferrata, victorious here tonight at Michigan. We'll see you in about a half an hour at Auto Club.
Thank you, sir.
Well, and that just about does it there, Jeff. I know that we had a lot of racing in this, maybe the cautions. I can tell you this, and I hate to knock on SNR, but I mean, these guys talked about the cautions. We had, I think, somewhere around 14 or 15 cautions in the Cup Series last week. So, I mean, this is pretty mild, and honestly, for the challenge that these guys are putting on, the racing was quality. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, it was a super entertaining race. I mean, it's not many tracks, that you can see this 3, sometimes 4 wide racing consistently. And we saw it on lap 1. So right from the get-go, we knew we were in for a good race here. And yeah, it got a little bit messy at times, kind of through the middle stages there. Some cautions kind of falling at some awkward times, and that jumbled up strategy. Some of the front runners early, we didn't see them, anywhere near the front, partially because of where those cautions fell, and they maybe got collected in a wreck. But I think, ultimately there towards the end, I mean, you saw 2 really good drivers battle it out, and really and a third one, Dakota kind of came out of nowhere at the end to make it a 3-car battle for the lead. But Chuck Sweeting, we know how good he is. Obviously, a lot of his finishes don't show it, but I mean, he brings speed to the racetrack every single week. And then Anathian, he made the move at the right time, was able to clear Chuck going into turn 1. And after that, he was able to hold on. And I knew as soon as, Anathian, he came out and got the pole at Dover in the Cup Series a few weeks ago, and I think pulled out to like a 5-second lead over the field. I knew we were going to be in trouble. This guy's pretty good, so I don't think it's the last of seeing Nathan Ferrata here winning races in Saturday Night Racing League.
We're on to something here for the Challenger Series. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast from Michigan. Tune in just about 35 minutes, actually 25 minutes. We'll be going live from Auto Club Speedway. Until then, take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. If we can't see you, stay tracking.